welcome back to the channel. So today we're working on an 06 Buick Rendezvous CX. It's got the 3.5 liter, and this is the vehicle I've been building to hopefully flip later on after I get my truck fixed. But right now I've been driving it for a little bit, just checking out the fixes that I've done with the brake lines and the fuel lines and things of that nature. So this has got the 4T60E transmission in it. So this is common in a lot of your GM products. It's a 4-speed transmission. And it's having a little hard time shifting between first and second. Sometimes it'll shift hard, sometimes it'll be a late shift, or even feel like the transmission's slipping. So I checked the fluid. Fluid is a little high, so someone's added too much in it, but it is thin. It doesn't really have a burnt smell to it, but it definitely has a burnt look to it. So what I'm going to do first off, before I get into changing any of the solenoids or going into the deep, taking the side cover off, I want to just go ahead and change the fluid and put an additive in it, and we'll see if that fixes it. Because as far as what my computer says, it says that the transmission pressures are fine. So that means the sensors and the call are coming from the transmission control valve body. So all the sensors are there and everything's being fine. So let's just try this fluid change to begin with. Let me show you what I'm working with. Alright, so I got the transmission filter kit. It's a TF304. I got some Lucas transmission conditioner, and then just the Dextron 6 Mercron ATF. So I got all this from Advance. I use this Lucas conditioner in basically all my transmissions when I do any type of fluid change. I'm a real big fan of Lucas products, and I've always had great luck out of them. So right now I'm going to get under the car and show you the pan that we'll be taking off. Alright, so here's our transmission pan. You got these bolts going all the way around. I'd say there's 20 of them if I remember correctly. But they're 10 millimeter. So what we're going to do is I've got the car slanted back downhill. So my idea is I want to take off all these outside bolts. So when I want to take all these bolts off and leave some here at the back. And basically let this transmission pan come down so I can catch most of the fluid. And the reason for that is this is the kind of the lower side here, how the vehicle's sitting back. So when I drop it, it should just drop straight into this pan. So I'm gonna start on this side, work my way around, and we'll get it broke loose. I may have to put a flat screwdriver in here and just kind of work it till the pan breaks free, and we can start draining the oil from the transmission. So as you can see, I didn't even get but a couple bolts out, and it started running out the back side. So it is draining. I've got the vehicle warm right now, so I'm just gonna let this continue to go ahead and just drain itself into this pan, because I really don't want my floor covered in ATF. But as you can see, it is brown, and it's not got a lot of viscosity left to it. So I'm thinking that's probably gonna be our problem. So let's let this drain, and I'll show you what it looks like with the pan off. So I got the pan off, as you can see, and that's what your fluid looks like. So obviously you guys know transmission fluid should be red. This is more brown, but the good thing is this is your magnet, and all it's got is just sludge on it. I don't see any gear chips or any big chunks, so that's a real good sign. Some typical just metal shavings from gear meshing. So what I'm going to do is get this gasket off, clean this up, and then, so here's up underneath. So these are just all your oil lines that's running throughout the transmission, and of course right here's your filter. So it's just held in place by a snap ring, or a ring. I shouldn't even say a snap ring, it's an O-ring gasket. And it's actually just right here at the top. So I'll try to pull it down on camera, but typically you just gotta grab both sides right here, and you can work its way down. As you can see, it's not just work it around and it'll come out. Alrighty, so there you go. So there's actually a little O-ring up in there that holds this on. So didn't see any big chunks come out of that. That's always good. You can see the fluid flowing out of it. It's still brown looking. So I'm really hoping that this will fix my issue. But right there you can see where your dipstick comes down in. But right now I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna get this gasket area here cleaned up really well. Take a Scotch-Brite pad to it and clean it up and get it all wiped down, clean out that pan, and then we'll start on the next reassembly of it. All right, so here's the gasket that show you goes up inside that hole right there that I was telling you about. So the kit came with a new one. So as you can see, I got this one out by taking a small screwdriver and basically pecking around the sides of it to bend it in enough to where I could get a set of needle nose pliers on it. So here's the new one. See that lip that I'm talking about around it? That's what I got my screwdriver on, and I didn't mark up the surface too bad, nowhere on the sealing surface. So now all we gotta do is just get this one, and I'm just gonna tap it up in there till it seats all the way flat against that seal. So that's the next thing. And then also in the kit, so I compared my filters. They look fine, look identically the same, as you can tell. But what's crazy is this kit did not come with a new gasket, but says that it's going to use the old one because it was a metal pan gasket. So I'm going to go through, make sure I don't have any surfaces on it, because I did clean the pan up and I found a little bit of rubber residue on it, so where that one had baked on. So if I see any cut places, this might be where we have to stop until I get another gasket. But we will see, and I'll show you with the filter pushed up in and this gasket on. The new seals up in, I just used the butt of my wooden hammer, tapped it up in, just took my time, worked myself around it, didn't have any issues, went in perfectly fine, and then just popped this up in. So now the next part was we're going to inspect that gasket for any issues. If there's no issues, the next video you'll see is with the pan up here and me starting to tighten the bolts down. All right guys, so I got all the bolts in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my socket and extension and just go around and tighten them all hand tight. And then once I get them all up to hand tight, I'm going to take my small torque wrench here and I'm going to torque them to 8.1 foot-pounds or 97 inch-pounds is what the spec on this was. And when I do it, I'm just going to start in the middle and jump back and forth until I get one side finished. Then I'm going to go to the other side and work my way out. It doesn't matter what side you start on, but you always want to do alternatively. So I always work in the middle and work my way out, so any of the pan flexing will flex out to the edges. So we're going to do that, and then I'm going to actually push it down off these wheel chocks and then start putting the fluid to it. Got it back down on the ground, went ahead and I put 3 quarts in, and then I put in this 20 ounces of the Lucas transmission conditioner. Now, like I said, I like putting this in because we didn't get all the fluid out of that transmission. There's still fluid in the torque converter, then throughout the valve body and even the transfer pipes. So that conditioner will help with basically conditioning the old oil that's in there and the new oil to go together. And it just, to me, it's an all around better situation than just fluid alone. So now with that in there, we're gonna go ahead and start it, let it idle and park, get warmed up, and then we'll check where the fluid is and add where we need to. All right guys, next day here. So I had to go to the parts store and get some more ATF fluid. It ended up taking 7 1/4 quarts, and that's with the Lucas 20 ounces in it. So 7 1/4 to do a filter change. I have taken it out and driven it. It shifts a ton better, but it still has that little 1-2 pause in it and right off the beginning. So I'm hoping the next step is to replace the ABS wheel speed sensors that's throwing a code. They do have a little interaction with the shifting of the transmission. So catch back for that video. But until next time, please subscribe, follow, like, share. Follow me on Instagram, Mustang Jackson 67. But until next time, let's keep building.